There comes a point in life when everything you've built suddenly collapses. The people you trusted walk away, the plans you made fall apart, and all that's left is silence. You stare at the ruins of what used to be your life, wondering how to start again when you have nothing. But the truth is, this is not the end. This is the beginning of the strongest version of you. Because from zero, you can build something that can never be broken again. There's a moment when everything you knew disappears. It could be losing someone you love, failing at something you believed in, or waking up one day realizing that life is nothing like you imagined. That moment hits hard, and no one prepares you for it. You feel empty, confused, and angry at yourself. You start questioning everything, your choices, your worth, your purpose. You look around, and suddenly, nothing feels safe anymore. The ground beneath you feels like it's disappearing, and all you want to do is stop time and breathe. But life doesn't stop. It keeps moving even when you can't. You still have to wake up, face the mirror, and pretend you're fine when inside you're breaking. You scroll through social media and see everyone else smiling, succeeding, living the life you thought you'd have. And that makes the pain even heavier. You start wondering why this happened to you. Why you? You gave everything. You tried. You believed. And yet it all crumbled. That's when you realize something painful. No matter how good you are, life doesn't play fair. But here's the truth most people never tell you. Sometimes losing everything is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the universe stripping you down to rebuild you from a stronger foundation. Because the person you were before couldn't handle the life that's waiting for you. When you hit rock bottom, it's not the end of your story, it's the clean page where the next chapter begins. The pain you're feeling right now is not permanent. It's a sign that change is happening. You might not see it yet, but one day you'll look back and realize that losing everything was the only way to find yourself. There's something powerful about zero. It's quiet, empty, and full of possibility. It's the point where nothing exists, but everything can be created. When you're at zero, you're free from what used to define you. You no longer have to live for other people's expectations or carry the weight of your past. You can decide who you want to become. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be lost. You're not weak for feeling broken. You're human. Every strong person you admire has been here, on their knees, with nothing left but hope. The difference is, they didn't stay down. You might not have control over what happened, but you do have control over what happens next. You can choose to rebuild. Not overnight. Not perfectly. But piece by piece, day by day. The most important step is not to give up on yourself, even when everything else has. When you rebuild from zero, you start seeing life differently. You stop chasing validation and start seeking peace. You learn to be grateful for small things, a quiet morning, a kind word, a deep breath. You realize that real happiness doesn't come from what you have, but from who you are becoming. The first step to rebuilding is acceptance. Accept that things fell apart. Accept that some people won't come back. Accept that your old life is gone. Acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with it. It means you're ready to face it. And that's where healing begins. Because before you can rebuild, you must stand in the ruins and say, "Yes, this is my reality." Only then can you take your first real step forward. The world may have taken everything from you, your confidence, your stability, your hope, but it can't take your ability to start again. That power is still yours. You just have to reach inside and believe it's there. You don't have to see the full road ahead. Just focus on one step, the first step. Wake up, breathe, and remind yourself that you're still here. And as long as you're here, you can rebuild. Because rebuilding yourself isn't about finding what you lost. It's about creating something better, something truer, something built from the real you. Acceptance is not easy. It's one of the hardest things a human being can ever do. Because it means facing what you didn't want to happen, admitting what you can't change, and learning to live with what broke you. But acceptance is also freedom. It's the moment you stop fighting the past and start walking toward your future. You can't rebuild yourself while holding on to what destroyed you. You can't move forward if your hands are full of pain. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over chaos, choosing yourself over your wounds. It's saying, I'm done being controlled by what I can't change. Sometimes we hold on because we're scared of who we'll be without the pain. The heartbreak, the failure, the betrayal, they become part of our identity. But pain is not who you are. It's something that happened to you. When you finally understand that, you start to breathe differently. There's power in surrendering to the truth. When you stop pretending things are fine and accept that they're not, healing begins. You don't have to smile through your pain or hide your struggles. Be honest with yourself. That honesty is strength, not weakness. Acceptance is not giving up, it's letting go of resistance. It's understanding that not everything was meant to last. Some people were only supposed to teach you, not stay with you. Some moments were meant to break you open, not define you. When you accept your pain, you take away its power. You start to see that what felt like an ending was really a redirection. The things that fell apart were never meant to carry you forever. You outgrew them, and life simply forced you to move forward. Letting go is not a single act, it's a process. Some days you'll feel free, other days the memories will come back and hurt again. That's okay. Healing is not linear. What matters is that you don't stay stuck where you were. Keep choosing peace, even when it's hard. You might never get the apology you deserve. You might never understand why things turned out the way they did. But closure doesn't come from others, it comes from you. It comes from deciding that your peace matters more than the answers you'll never get. When you let go, something magical happens. You start creating space. Space for new people, new dreams, new energy. You begin to attract what's meant for your healed version, not your broken one. That's how life rewards those who release what no longer serves them. Acceptance gives you clarity. It makes you realize that what you thought was a loss was actually protection. Some things didn't work out because they weren't supposed to. If they had, you wouldn't have grown. You wouldn't have found your strength. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering for something that's already gone. You can care and still move on. You can love and still choose yourself. You can remember and still move forward. That's the balance of real healing. The human heart is powerful. It can shatter into 1,000 pieces and still beat again. But it can't heal if you keep reopening the same wound. Stop replaying what hurt you. Stop expecting the past to change. Start focusing on what you can control, your present and your future. You have to stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every pain has a purpose. Every loss leaves behind wisdom. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as a student of life, everything changes. Forgiveness is also part of letting go. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. Forgiveness doesn't mean you approve of what happened, it means you refuse to carry it any longer. It's choosing to live light instead of heavy. When you forgive, you free yourself. You stop dragging the past into your future. You stop letting the same pain write every chapter of your life. Forgiveness doesn't erase the story, but it gives it a new ending, one where you win by letting go. It's easy to think that letting go means losing. But in truth, it's the greatest act of strength. It's you saying, I may not have control over everything, but I still choose peace. It's you reclaiming your power after losing it for so long. Sometimes you'll let go of something and realize you were never losing anything, you were saving yourself. You were making space for a better version of your life. You were walking away from what no longer fit your soul. Letting go also means accepting uncertainty. You don't know what comes next, and that's terrifying. But it's also beautiful. Because when everything is uncertain, everything is possible. You're no longer trapped by old stories. You're free to write new ones. Don't rush the process. Healing takes time. You can't rebuild a house overnight after it's burned down. You have to clear the ashes, lay new foundations, and build slowly. The same goes for your life. Be patient. Be kind to yourself. Acceptance gives you peace. Letting go gives you power. Together, they set you free. They allow you to stop surviving and start living again. They remind you that you're not defined by your pain, you're defined by how you rise from it. The world often teaches us to hold on, to fight, to chase, to fix everything. But true wisdom comes when you learn that not everything needs fixing. Some things need to end so that better ones can begin. Letting go doesn't erase your past, it redefines it. You stop seeing it as something that ruined you and start seeing it as something that built you. Because every tear, every fall, every goodbye shaped the person you are now, wiser, stronger, and more alive. When you reach that point of peace, you'll notice something strange. The things you used to cry over no longer hurt the same. You'll wake up one day and realize you're lighter. You'll laugh again, dream again, and trust life again. That's when you know you've let go. It doesn't happen all at once, but it will happen. Slowly, quietly, beautifully. You'll become a new person, not the one you were before the pain, but someone deeper. Someone who knows that even in the darkest chapters, you still have the power to rewrite your story. Acceptance is where healing begins. Letting go is where growth begins. Together, they form the foundation of rebuilding yourself from zero. Because before you can build anything new, you must clear away the weight of what's gone. So take a deep breath. Look at your life, not with regret, but with understanding. Everything that left made room for something better. Everything that broke made space for light to enter. You're not starting over, you're starting stronger. When you've lost everything, believing in yourself again can feel impossible. The world makes it look easy. Just have confidence, they say. But how do you believe when everything you believed in has already fallen apart? That's the moment where true self-belief begins, not when life is perfect, but when life is in pieces. Self-belief doesn't mean pretending you're strong all the time. It means deciding to try again, even when your hands are shaking. It's that quiet whisper inside you that says, I still have something left, even after the world made you feel worthless. There's a point after the storm where you realize no one is coming to save you. And strangely, that truth sets you free. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone else to fix your life, you discover your own power. That's when rebuilding truly begins. You might not feel confident right now, and that's okay. Confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build, brick by brick, through small actions and small victories. It grows every time you keep going when quitting feels easier. When you start from zero, self-belief becomes your only currency. You don't have fame, you don't have validation, and maybe you don't even have support. But you have you. And that's enough. Because the person who rebuilds themselves doesn't need the world's permission to rise again. The first step is to silence the voice that tells you you're not enough. That voice isn't the truth, it's the echo of every time you were told to doubt yourself. Start talking back to it. Replace, I can't, with, I'll try. Replace, I'm broken, with, I'm rebuilding. Belief is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. It begins small, sometimes barely visible. But with time and consistency, it grows until one day, you look back and realize that the person who once doubted everything is now unstoppable. You have to understand, no one who ever achieved greatness started with complete confidence. Every strong person began with fear, failure, and uncertainty. The difference is, they moved anyway. They believed not in the outcome, but in their ability to adapt. When you lose everything, you also lose the noise, the expectations, the comparisons, the pressure to fit in. That's your chance to hear your own voice again. The one that knows your dreams, your values, your fire. Listen to it. It's been waiting for you to return. The world will try to tell you who you are, but it's up to you to decide. Self-belief is built when you stop living by others' opinions. You don't need approval. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to remember that your existence alone already means something. There's a reason they say, faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. Because real belief doesn't need to be huge, it just needs to be alive. Even a little bit of faith in yourself can light the darkest room. You must stop defining yourself by your lowest moments. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the version of yourself who couldn't handle life before. You are the person who is still standing, still trying, still believing. That's who you are now. Every time you tell yourself, I can't, you rewrite a part of your story. You shift from victim to warrior, from broken to reborn, from lost to found. It doesn't happen overnight, but each small act of belief builds a foundation stronger than anything you had before. Self-belief also means forgiving yourself. You can't rebuild your life while hating yourself for the past. You did what you could with what you knew then. Now you know better, so you can do better. That's growth. That's healing. When you stop blaming yourself, you start empowering yourself. You begin to see that every mistake was a lesson, every fall was a step, and every pain was a teacher. Life wasn't trying to destroy you. It was shaping you. Believe in your scars. They are proof that you survived. They are not signs of weakness but of strength. Every scar says, I've been through fire and came out alive. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. There will be days when you doubt yourself again. That's normal. But don't let those days define you. Self-belief isn't about never falling. It's about trusting that you'll rise again every single time. Stop waiting to feel ready. You'll never feel 100% prepared to rebuild. The courage comes from action, not waiting. Start with what you have, where you are, and watch how life begins to move with you once you move first. When you start believing in yourself, even just a little, you'll notice things shifting. People will start treating you differently because confidence is magnetic. Opportunities will appear where you once saw walls. The world changes when your mindset changes. There's nothing selfish about putting yourself first. Self-belief isn't arrogance, it's survival. You can't pour into others if your cup is empty. You can't save anyone else until you've saved yourself. Look at yourself. The same person who thought they couldn't survive the worst days is still here. That's proof enough that you are stronger than your fears. You've already made it through everything you thought would break you. Why stop now? Self-belief is not a destination, it's a practice. Every day, remind yourself of who you are. Speak to yourself with kindness. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Over time, your inner voice will stop doubting and start defending you. The people who rebuild from zero don't wait for perfect timing. They trust their inner fire. They start walking before they see the full path. That's what belief looks like. Moving in faith, not in certainty. You might think you need motivation to start, but in truth, action creates motivation. Every time you take a step, your confidence grows. Every small win reminds you that you are capable. Keep stacking those wins. They'll become your new identity. Don't compare your rebuilding to anyone else's. Everyone's timeline is different. Some people heal in months, others in years. What matters is that you're moving forward. Progress is progress, no matter the pace. Self-belief is the light that guides you through darkness. It's not loud. It's quiet. It's that calm inner strength that whispers, "I'm not done yet." Hold on to that voice. It's your greatest ally. And remember this, no one can believe in you more than you can. Even if the world doubts you, even if no one claps for you, you can still clap for yourself. You can still rise for yourself. You can still rebuild for yourself. The moment you decide that you are enough, everything changes. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop begging and start building. That's the power of belief. It transforms your energy, your decisions, your entire reality. You'll know your self-belief has been reborn when you stop fearing failure. You'll realize that failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to learn from. It's not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Belief is the foundation of every comeback story. Without it, nothing stands. With it, everything is possible. You've been given a second chance, not by luck, but by strength. Don't waste it doubting yourself. Stand tall. You've earned your place here. The world tried to break you, but it didn't win. You did. You're still here. You're still fighting. And now you're learning to believe again. That's the first true sign of your rebirth. Believing in yourself is the spark that lights the fire. But discipline, that's the flame that keeps it alive when the wind of doubt tries to blow it out. Motivation fades, excitement disappears, but discipline remains. It's what gets you up when you're tired, what keeps you moving when no one's watching, what makes success inevitable when others quit. When you start rebuilding your life from zero, discipline becomes your lifeline. You no longer have a safety net, no guarantees, no applause. It's just you and your choices. And every choice, every small action, becomes a brick in the foundation of your comeback. Discipline is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Because those are the moments that matter the most. When you act without feeling ready, you're training your mind to be stronger than your emotions. Most people think discipline means restriction. But it's the opposite. It's freedom. It's control over your own life. It's saying, I decide how my day goes, not my mood. That's where real power begins. When you stop being controlled by what you feel and start being driven by what you believe. Motivation is like a sparkler, bright but short-lived. Discipline is a fire pit, steady, warm, long-lasting. You build it slowly, feeding it daily with small habits, and soon it becomes impossible to extinguish. When you're rebuilding from zero, start small. One habit, one promise, one victory at a time. You don't need to run a marathon. Just walk a few extra steps today. Progress is progress, no matter the size. Momentum doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. The first step is always the hardest, because it breaks the chain of inaction. Once you move, even slightly, your brain starts working with you instead of against you. That's the secret to starting again. Movement creates motivation. You'll never feel ready to begin. No one does. Waiting for the right time is a lie. The right time is the moment you decide to act. Momentum doesn't appear magically. It's built through persistence, through ordinary days, through quiet effort. You might fail. You might fall back. That's okay. Discipline isn't about being flawless. It's about returning. Every time you start again after falling, your discipline strengthens. Every restart is proof that you're serious about changing. When you rebuild yourself, think of discipline as self-respect in action. It's proof that you care about your future enough to fight for it. You're telling the universe, I'm showing up for myself now, no matter what. Small daily actions matter more than massive bursts of effort. You don't need to move mountains in a day. Just move a pebble, every day, consistently. Over time, those pebbles become mountains moved. The hardest part of discipline isn't starting, it's keeping the same energy when life hits you. When you're tired. When you feel lost. When no one's watching. That's when your new self is being born, in silence, through struggle, through repetition. No one sees the early mornings, the quiet grind, the late nights of doubt. But that's where transformation happens. Not in public, but in private. The world only sees the result, not the discipline behind it. When you're building momentum, remember that rest isn't the enemy, neglect is. You don't need to burn out. You just need balance. Rest when necessary, but never quit. Because every time you restart after rest, your fire burns stronger. If you want to change your life, change your habits. Every habit is a vote for the person you're becoming. You can't rebuild yourself while keeping the same patterns that broke you. Replace distraction with discipline, comfort with consistency, excuses with effort. Be patient with the process. Discipline feels heavy in the beginning, but over time, it becomes natural. Your brain adapts. What was once difficult becomes automatic. That's the beauty of momentum. The more you move, the easier it gets to keep moving. You'll notice it one day, that you no longer need to force yourself to do what once felt impossible. You'll wake up earlier without struggle. You'll follow through on promises naturally. That's not luck. That's growth. Momentum is energy in motion. Once it starts, it builds speed. But when you stop, it fades. That's why you must protect it. One lazy day can become a lazy week. One excuse can become a habit. Stay aware. Stay awake. Keep your focus alive. There's nothing glamorous about discipline. It's often boring, repetitive, quiet. But that's what makes it powerful. Because while others chase excitement, you're building something permanent. You're laying bricks while they chase sparks. Every disciplined day compounds. One workout leads to more energy. One healthy meal leads to better focus. One completed task leads to more confidence. This is how change begins, quietly, consistently, inevitably. When you build momentum, life begins to reward you. You start attracting opportunities, people, and outcomes that match your new energy. You become magnetic not because you're lucky, but because your actions are aligned with your vision. You might wonder why discipline feels lonely. It's because most people aren't willing to do what you're doing. They'll mock your effort, question your choices, even call you obsessed. Let them talk. You're not living their life, you're building yours. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Every step you take across it matters. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. But it's real. And it's the only thing that works. When you commit to discipline, you also commit to patience. Growth doesn't show up instantly. You'll work hard for months with no visible reward. That's when most people quit. But those who stay, they experience the miracle of momentum. Momentum is invisible before it's unstoppable. You won't see progress at first, but it's happening under the surface. Like roots growing before the tree appears. Trust that your consistency is building strength even when you can't see it. It's not the big wins that change your life, it's the small habits repeated daily. The choice to read instead of scroll. To move instead of sleep in. To work instead of complain. Those choices shape your identity more than any dramatic event. Every morning you get up with purpose, you reinforce your belief that change is possible. Every task you complete, no matter how small, tells your mind, I am capable. That repetition rewires your self-image from broken to unstoppable. Make discipline part of your identity. Don't just try to be disciplined, become disciplined. Tell yourself, I am the kind of person who follows through. When your identity aligns with your actions, consistency becomes natural. You will face resistance. Your mind will test you. It will whisper, skip today, you deserve a break. That's the moment you decide who wins, your excuses or your evolution. Each time you choose action, you weaken your old self. The longer you stay consistent, the less effort it takes. Momentum becomes your ally. It starts carrying you forward. You no longer push, you flow. What was once hard becomes who you are. That's real transformation. Understand this. The discipline you build now will protect you for life. Because one day, challenges will return. Pain will visit again. But you'll handle it differently. You'll know that no matter what happens, you can rebuild, because you've done it before. Momentum is fragile in the beginning, but unstoppable once grown. Guard it fiercely. Avoid distractions that steal your focus. Limit negativity. Protect your mental space like your life depends on it, because it does. When you start feeling tired, remind yourself why you began. Think of the version of you who refused to quit when everything was gone. That person deserves your best. That person is why you must keep going. Don't underestimate the power of repetition. Doing the same thing every day may seem boring, but it's how champions are built. Mastery comes from monotony, from showing up long after the excitement fades. Discipline will not always feel good, but it will always feel worth it. Because nothing hurts more than regret. The pain of effort is temporary. The pain of giving up lasts forever. Choose your pain wisely. You'll reach a point where you realize that discipline is self-love in its purest form. It's taking care of your future self even when your present self doesn't feel like it. It's building a life your future self will thank you for. There's a silent pride that comes with discipline, not arrogance, but gratitude. Because you'll know you earn every bit of your progress. You'll know you created your comeback, not by luck, but by relentless effort. Each disciplined day adds to your strength. Each day of momentum makes you unstoppable. Soon, you won't even recognize the person who once doubted themselves. You'll be living proof that starting from zero doesn't mean staying there. Keep your head down and your heart strong. You don't need anyone's validation to continue. You don't need applause. Your consistency is your proof. Your growth is your reward. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize something beautiful. That discipline didn't just rebuild your life, it rebuilt you. It turned your weakness into wisdom, your chaos into order, your uncertainty into faith. You'll smile, not because the road was easy, but because you finally understand, you didn't just survive. You transformed. You became the kind of person who no longer fears starting from zero, because you now know how to build from nothing. That's the power of discipline. That's the magic of momentum. Together, they turn broken souls into builders, and hopeless hearts into warriors. Keep going. Don't stop. The foundation is already forming beneath your feet. Every effort, every day, every moment, it's all adding up to something far greater than you can see right now. Because this time, you're not building fast. You're building forever.